Podcast listeners, this is for you. Welcome to No Dunks here in the Classic Factory. I'm Tess Mouse. With me, it's the man in the middle, Trey Kirby.
Ayo!
Ayo! Yes. And the man making the magic happen, who had a good Ayo right there. It's JD.
Well, thank you very much.
You're
Been working on it all week.
Mastering it.
I was watching basketball all weekend.
Hey, I was
wasn't
watching
practicing.
basketball all weekend.
Same. Mostly NBA. But that's just a segue to the NCAA and our bracket, where we're ranked 5th, surprisingly, because we had UConn, really.
5th. We're also 9th, you know?
Yeah, I saw it as 9th.
Yeah, unfortunately,
well.
we only have... Our best we can do is 2nd. Because I think Adam Patterson is a little bit ahead of us. He's maybe tied for 3rd or 4th, something like that. Also has Michigan over UConn in the finals. So we can't catch Adam. But still, we're trending towards our best finish ever.
Right. Big reason why is because we had UConn. Why
that's
we're
big.
ranked so high.
Yeah, definitely. Beating Duke. This one's on Doug Miller. Absolutely. We said if Doug doesn't have a beard, we're taking Duke to lose at some point. Called him up. Clean shaven. Says he wants to feel clean, wants to feel fresh. Understandable. Skeets was hesitating. He was like, oh man, we got Doug on the phone right away. Maybe we should put Duke through. But we stuck to our guns and we took UConn. And Duke just with an all-time panic mode moment there. I don't know what was going on. Boozer catches the ball like down in the bottom right corner. There's under 10 seconds left. Couldn't they just held the ball? Waited to get fouled? They were up 1. So UConn's got to do something to get the ball back. Instead, Duke just throws a bunch of passes, including a guy, other Boozer, jumping and throwing like a one-hand baseball pass into 2 defenders.
Yeah, you can see the coaches saying,
shot.
hands. There's going to be hands there. You know what's coming.
Yeah, that was a crazy move. It looked like they could have just stayed there. Hey, foul us. I know they wanted to get the ball across half court, but still. Wild play from Duke and then an amazing shot by Mullins from UConn. That was a deep bomb to send them through to the Final Four. Crazy stuff.
Braylon Mullins. What a great name.
Braylon Mullins.
No relation to Byron Mullins, former NBA player at all. But I guess the only question I have is, they're trying to advance it. Is there an 8-second rule in college?
It's 10 seconds in college.
Okay. So I guess they could have called it with like 0.1 left because wasn't there like 10.1?
Was it 10.1
I don't
when
know.
they
It was something
inbounded
like
it?
that. It seemed like
exactly.
it.
I think I think what they should have done was nothing. Just turtle up.
But
fouled me.
Yeah, and I think Alex Caravan, who made the pass to Mullins, a good 3-point shooter. He could have forced it. It was literally like 2 seconds left. He could have just let that thing rip. He's a good shooter, but there was somebody in front of him, so just real calm to make that pass. But we've got UConn to go all the way. So
no, we have Michigan to go all the way.
What?
We have Michigan to win it, man.
Oh,
we've got UConn in the finals.
Oh, the finals.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And don't worry, Michigan's going to win. They look incredible. They dominated yesterday. They had the easiest matchup, for sure.
This bracket is confusing me here.
No, it's not, man. On the left, it says UConn versus Illinois, UConn going into the finals. Yeah, on the right, we've got Arizona versus Michigan, Michigan going into the finals. We picked Michigan.
No, I know, but we're ranked 9th.
Yes.
But also, Skeets was in the Slack today. He said we're ranked 5th. How are we ranked 5th, but also ranked 9th?
We're ranked 9th.
Oh, very odd.
Yeah.
Everybody's
There's 8 teams ahead of us. There's 8 teams ahead of us. We are ranked 9th, though we're the 5th number. There's a 1st, there's a 3rd, there's a 4th, and there's a 9th, I think. We are 9th.
Okay. I guess that's this. I can't log in, so I can't actually see that. But
there
anyways, I saw the 9th, and then I saw 5th, and then... anyways, we have 3 of the Final 4.
We're smacking it right now.
Yeah, we're cooking. Great ending to that game for non-Duke fans.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, very fun. All right, let's move on to the NBA. We got the winners and losers, as we always do on Mondays.
We do.
Trey, get us started here.
I got the Cavs as a winner because they're pretty healthy. They got Dean Wade out. They got Jalen Tyson out, but these are small injuries. They're also apparently going to be resting a bunch of guys tonight against the Jazz because it's just a good time to get us some rest in before the playoffs. But the Big Four all played on Friday against the Heat. Just the 4th game together for Mitchell, Harden, Mobley, and Allen since the trade deadline, and they completely destroyed the Heat Friday night. I saw a plus 36 was the biggest on the diff there in Cleveland, a huge plus lineup for the Big Four altogether, and that's even with Mitchell and Harden having pretty poor shooting nights. I thought they did everything else offensively for the Cavs. Mitchell, 6 assists, 4 steals. Harden had 14 assists, just 1 turnover. And I thought he was awesome setting the table. He's kind of a pure point guard for this Cavs team, especially when they have everybody in the lineup. The main beneficiary was Evan Mobley. He went for 23 on 10 of 15 shooting, and Jarrett Allen, 18 points on 8 of 10 from the field. The Strus Goose was hot as well. Went 8 of 11 from 3, 29 points, 38 assists in the game for Cleveland. Great ball movement. It looked like those 4 guys had played together way more than, I think they're like 48 minutes together. A small number, just because of injuries to Allen and Mobley has kind of made it so the Cavs can't actually see what they've got going forward. But this was a great win for Cleveland. Looking like a well-oiled machine. I like that they basically keep Harden attached to Jarrett Allen. So when they're playing with the second unit, it's just like all pick and roll with Harden and Allen. And we know Allen's a great roll man. Harden's a great setup man. But there was a lot of secondary assists for James Harden as well. A lot of tic-tac-toe passing from Cleveland. They just dissected the Heat defense, which we'll talk about them in the second half of the show, because they are big-time losers and they can't guard anybody right now, Cavs included. But after the weekend shook out, the Knicks lost a couple of games Thursday and Sunday. 1.5 games back of the 3rd seed right now are the Cavs. But I'm wondering, you think they're going to want to stay at 4? I think 4th place is where you want to be in the Eastern Conference right now, because first round, you're getting one of the Raptors, Hawks, and Sixers. Then you're either playing a play-in team or a Pistons squad that we don't really know what they're going to look like with Cade Cunningham returning from his collapsed lung. They've been great with him out. It's different in the playoffs. Then you got the conference finals. If you finish in 3rd, you play one of the Raptors, Hawks, or Sixers. We'll see who ends up in the 6th seed and 5th seed there. But then you either have to play the Celtics or the Knicks in the 2nd round, followed by the conference finals. I think the 4 seed is preferable for everybody.
I think so. Yeah, when you're looking at it in terms of the first round, for sure. Yeah, the old we don't reseed in the 2nd round hurts. And in this situation here, you like it if you're 4-5 and then going up against the Pistons, who are going to make a winner of the weekend because they have been absolutely cooking. That being said, I do find the Cavs odd here. Why aren't they playing their guys tonight?
Well,
they need their guys.
2 reasons is first is they're playing the Jazz.
Yeah, but still, you want these 4 guys who haven't played all together. You just got James Harden. Jarrett Allen's hurt. Play them.
Sure.
I think you want that.
I understand wanting them to get some reps together. I kind of agree with you there. Maybe they should do like a minutes limit sort of thing. Play these guys 24 minutes, but also losses aren't bad for the Cavs. They've got an 80% chance, according to Basketball Reference, of finishing at 4, 20% of jumping up to 3, but only the Nets in the Eastern Conference have an easier schedule remaining than the Cavs. So they're going to be in shenanigans mode here. If they got a chance to rest some guys, they're going to take it because they would not mind losing. I know the Raptors had their number. I think they played all of their games before the end of November.
It was early, yeah.
So you can kind of toss those ones out. Certainly the Cavs would want to take their chances with the Raptors rather than getting one of these better teams that is near the play-in tournament. And then, like we're saying, 2nd round matchup, I think you would rather play the Pistons than either the Knicks or the Celtics, just because of an experience factor. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see some strategic rests from Cleveland right now.
Yeah, watching them, they looked fantastic, the 4 of them. I couldn't tell what I liked more. Was it that Evan Mobley was up top a lot with James Harden to start possession. So Jarrett Allen was hanging out way down at the baseline. And because all the attention was on Harden and Mobley, Allen was paying off, whether he was just doing some little cuts from the dunk spot and Harden was able to find him, or that Mobley was drawing attention himself in separate plays. So they just were working off each other really well. Or the fact that Max Strus dropped 8 threes in a game this weekend and then had a Miller Lite afterwards in the hallway during the post-game interview, like he's Luka Doncic going to the NBA Finals, just chilling, having a beer. He's in a fantastic mode himself. And everybody else drawing attention, because it is on Harden, it is Mobley, and then there's an Allen, and don't forget about Donovan Mitchell, and then Max Strus just there to catch and shoot. Yep. So, yeah, perfect chemistry right now. And so I guess it makes sense. You just sit against the Jazz because you're cooking. You're just giving the ball primarily to Harden, as you said, whether it's with second units or not, or it's Dono time. They do have a fantastic offense. Obviously, it showed this weekend.
Yeah, they look good. And we talked about them a ton right after the trade deadline. They added Harden. Looked like they could be a favorite in the Eastern Conference. Then, Cade goes down. The Celtics get Jayson Tatum back. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley kind of trade going out with injuries. And it felt like we didn't talk about the Cavs hardly at all, just waiting for him to get healthy. We were mostly talking about how good Max Strus looks. Headband or not,
physically, right?
Yeah, physically. But yeah, to get him back, I think the Cavs, we got 2 weeks left of the regular season here. It's going to be a balance of playoff seeding and getting a rhythm going forward because they definitely have a chance. I feel like the Eastern Conference, all of the top 4 teams maybe have pretty close to a 25% chance. You would break the pie up in different sort of ways, but it feels like there's 4 favorites in the Eastern Conference. Take your pick for who you think is actually on top. The Cavs were impressive, though, against the Heat.
Well, throw the Philadelphia 76ers in there because I'm looking forward to watching
them in the favorites.
Well, not the favorites
category.
No, but I'd love to see them in a series against the Cavs. Maybe it's just Mickey Mouse March where I'm feeling good about the teams below them. But yeah, my winner is the Philadelphia 76ers because, yes, I would love to see them against the Cleveland Cavaliers, especially there's a good storyline there. Embiid, Donovan Mitchell, one of them wins. One of them could be on to their first conference finals in their NBA career. But I like the way they beat the Charlotte Hornets this weekend, specifically the way they looked to end the game where they've got Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid playing together. They're big 3 playing together, which doesn't happen very often. So they get out there, and in the last couple minutes, it looked like that Paul George that they signed away from the Los Angeles Clippers to be a max guy to come up with a big offensive rebound on a missed free throw to get the ball back for them. And then on the inbound, he's running off a screen and splashing a 3 from the corner, 3 of his 26 points. 13 rebounds, and then he had a huge steal on the next play where they're doubling out close to half court, and he's able to race back and steal the pass. 4 steals for him, so he looks like that guy. And then Embiid, really, really big defensively late. 7 seconds left. He had his back to the shooter that was sort of in the corner on that side of the floor. It was Brandon Miller. And he was able to get out there looking like he's Wemby as a pass goes out to Brandon Miller from the paint. Again, back to Brandon Miller, but able to get out there. Fantastic on that side. The offense, I don't know if he's always going to be a first half guy, but he had 21 of his 29 points in the first half and then able to do that defensively. Tyrese Maxey, also good on both sides. He had 43 minutes, first game back from his finger injury. I thought his dunk early in the fourth quarter that was on a fast break really was able to turn this game. So those 3 guys and the way they beat the Charlotte Hornets, I thought was impressive. And that, yeah, I would take most likely the Cavs or the Knicks, depending on where the Sixers fall, if it's 5 or 6, hopefully for them as they continue to move up here, if they can get up there. But because those guys are the big 3, no disrespect to VJ Edgecombe, but that's why you feel good about this team because they've got big 3 and they've got VJ Edgecombe and they continue to beat teams. Right now, they're getting it together again because their big 3 hasn't played together in 2 months.
Yep.
So this was very, very big for them. They're getting right at the right time. I know it sounds really weird when you're talking about Paul George and Joel Embiid. The guy was also Paul. One of them also had 25 games that he was suspended.
Yes.
So that was a part of it. But Joel Embiid looking good. So here we are. I would love a series with them and the Cavs.
This was a silver lining to the Maxey injury and the Paul George suspension. Like it kept Paul George healthy. Like he's got his legs underneath him right now. He's got enough chance to get in rhythm. And Maxey was playing the most minutes in the league. Like he sat out for 3 weeks and he's still top 10 in total minutes played. Mm-hmm. That's how much of a load he's carried for this team. So gets him a little bit of a rest as well. Embiid has been in and out of the lineup, but every time he plays, he looks awesome offensively. And like you're saying, he made a couple of big defensive plays. In this one, Sixers to me are like the definition of a dark horse team. You don't expect them to win. There are too many variables for this team going forward, but they're a really scary matchup because when you're talking about top 3 talent, there's not a lot of teams in either conference that can really match Maxey, Embiid, and Paul George when they're all playing well. Like, I think they played okay in this game against the Hornets. I thought Maxey was kind of the best. Like, you can tell that he was missing time with a finger injury rather than a knee injury or something that's going to hamper his burst going forward, because this dude was flying. That dunk he had, like you're talking about, the lefty one there in the fourth quarter. I heard Eric Collins say he was shot out of a cannon on this one. He used that phrase multiple times on Tyrese Maxey. So that's how you know Maxey was playing pretty well. He looked like his old self. Paul George can hit big shots when needed, can take a little bit of the responsibility from Maxey, and then Embiid is pretty steady. And I thought he was bringing it on the defensive end against the Hornets as well, after kind of letting, Musa run wild with getting the offensive rebounds, that kind of stuff. They're a super talented team. And if they get the right matchup, people will take them in a first-round playoff series. The key now is just to get out of the play-in for them, and they're pretty close, right? I think they're a half game out of the 6th seed with the Hawks playing tonight. We'll see what happens. Yeah. But 76ers got to feel like they did a decent enough job of, like, holding the fort with Paul George suspended, Maxey going down with injury. Like, they didn't fall too far out of the mix in the Eastern Conference that they could still win a first-round series.
Yeah, it is... it's a scenario if they get up to face the Cavs where it's not quite a coin flip. I would still probably take the Cavs, but it almost feels like a 52-48. I mean, it's easy to take the Sixers in that battle when Tyrese Maxey is back healthy, playing 43 minutes in that game. I think Paul George on both sides looking like that guy he can play on both ends. And then Kelly Oubre also back. Quentin Grimes also balling. They have a lot of talent on that team to go up against. Whether it's the Cavs, if they're able to move up, like you said, the Hawks are only a half game ahead of them. They got Boston tonight. Their schedule gets tougher on the Atlanta side. And even the New York Knicks, I said it last week, I love the matchup of Embiid. And whether it's Cat or you're going to see a lot more Mitchell Robinson, they're going to have to coordinate who they're trying to guard Joel Embiid with. He does look healthy. I mean, that's obviously the huge question, but the Sixers look like a great team.
Did you like Kelly Oubre's half red, half black hair?
Yeah, I guess.
Kind of like a two-faced look?
Yeah. That's his thing. All right, moving on. Your next winner of the weekend.
I got the Denver Nuggets. Would they have been a winner of the weekend if they lost to the Jazz on Friday like they almost did? Absolutely not. But guess what? They pulled it out. Down 10 with 5.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Nuggets locked in. They forced a bunch of turnovers from the Jazz. Jazz finally started missing some shots, and the Nuggets heated up. Got 4 threes in the last 2.5 minutes from Jamal Murray and Cam Johnson. It was just go to the Jokic and Murray two-man game and get some sort of a wide-open shot on the Nuggets side. Jokic played great, 33, 15, and 12, but somehow his touch completely abandoned him in the last 2 minutes. Yeah. He was smoking layups that he makes all the time. Wide open little flippers and dumpers. He had a couple of free throws that he missed that made the game even tighter than it should have been, but Nuggets pulled it out. Then Sunday against the Warriors, Golden State led at the half, but Denver gave up only 40 points to the Warriors in the second half. Turned into a blowout because Denver hit 13 second half threes. I thought Tim Hardaway was really good in this one. He had 16 points. Bruce Brown had 15 points. He had a three, and at one point, he tipped his cap. I like to see that from the Cowboy himself, Bruce Brown. Good celebration. Denver is on a 6-game winning streak. They're 2 games up on Minnesota for the 4th seed in the Western Conference. Denver has a tougher remaining schedule. They do have the tiebreak over Minnesota. However, that would be an interesting first-round series, 4-5 Denver-Minnesota. They've played a lot of really tough games in the past 2 or 3 seasons. Denver also only 1 game back from LA for the 3rd seed. The Lakers, though, do have the tiebreak that they got when they played their great win streak recently. I think both teams are going to want to play the Rockets in the first round. I think most teams will be gunning for the Rockets, whether it be a 3-6 or 4-5 matchup. So that's another one where I'm on shenanigans alert. It feels like that last week of the season, a lot of gamesmanship of we need this win, you need this loss, you need this win, we need this loss. We will see how it all shakes out, but I think Denver's put themselves in a pretty good spot to kind of influence the postseason matchup that they want going forward.
They're peaking. It's funny because You watch this matchup against Kristaps Porzingis on Sunday night, and it was like I was flashing back to Eurobasket. And like, this is the Kristaps Porzingis I thought was coming into this season, splashing 5 threes against the Denver Nuggets. But then those are the games where Nikola Jokic really wakes up and he says, "Come on, man!" He splashed 4 threes himself, standing out there saying, "This is where I get my assists with my handoffs," doing his thing. But you got to guard me. That's why I get assists, because I can splash threes. But they can say our offense can beat you at any time. You said Tim Hardaway, who's obviously flowing. The Bruce Brown 3 from literally midcourt. Plus Jokic, plus Murray, plus a Cam, plus a Christian Brown. They have all the ingredients. They look like they're ready to go.
They also got 3 guys named Jones now. I didn't realize that. Spencer Jones didn't play yesterday against the Warriors, but they also got Curtis and Tyus Jones. 3 Joneses.
Forgot about the Curtis.
Yeah, you forget about Curtis.
Mm-hmm. Always forget about Curtis. Moving on to the Boston Celtics. Jayson Tatum is absolutely a winner. No Jaylen Brown this weekend for both games, so Jayson Tatum could go into that number 1 role and excel. Didn't start great against the Atlanta Hawks, but in the fourth quarter, he took over, and it was just Jayson Tatum time where you could rely on that guy. He had 13 in that fourth quarter. Then against Charlotte, his best game this season. He just looked like he could use whatever option he had, whatever matchup he had. If he had LaMelo Ball on him, he said, all right, I am absolutely taking him to the rack. He went by him. He had some nice duck-ins where if Con Knipple was on him, all right, I'm literally shooting over you. Or the passes, sometimes he had Brandon Miller on him, couldn't get by him. But the great Jayson Tatum is able to find wherever a guy is to score. So Brandon Miller took him out of the play. Peyton Pritchard, beautiful cut. Namiya Shiketa in a pick and roll. And that's where Jayson Tatum rolls, is perfected because he is so good at those assists. He had 8 assists yesterday, season high. To go along with this 32 points, a season high. 5 threes, a season high. And that's where he's going to operate from, whether it's beyond the 3-point line, whether it's making his way into the lane for beautiful passes. He's just perfected it. So that's 11 games here into his season, looking very, very good most of the time. And looking like a guy who could be Jaylen Brown's number 2. That has to be that way because Jaylen Brown is excelling in that role. I'm not worried about Jaylen Brown sitting out a couple of games. No, it was just sort of a knee discomfort thing that he just chilled out for, it seems like. But it also allows Jayson Tatum to get back to who he was. So looking like that championship Jayson Tatum, I thought.
Yeah, he looked like Jayson Tatum. He, pick and roll every single time down, hunt the mismatch and exploit the mismatch. Sometimes it's in the post, like you're saying. A bunch of his assists were also on like baseline out of bounds plays that were just cooked up by Joe Mazzulla. Easy dish underneath, but he was good. This was a great win for the Celtics to be able to beat a hot Hornets team in Charlotte without 2 of your top guys in white and brown, 2 of your favorite colors in white and brown as well. But yeah, I mean, you can just slot Jayson Tatum and guess what? You get to be the number 1 today. Peyton Pritchard, you're back in the starting lineup. You get to be the number 2 today. 28 points from him, 32 from Tatum. If they get this level of Tatum, I'm not saying 32 and 8 every night, but like the level that he's been playing at, as long as they're able to stay away from the things that have always been a problem for the Celtics. When they look their worst, during the Tatum and Brown era, it's been disjointed offense, taking turns, your turn, my turn, getting too much into one-on-ones, too much settling for threes. But I think that the level that Tatum is playing at since his return is good enough for me to look at the Celtics and be like, this is probably the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. Just because they've got such a long track record, they've got the continuity together. The team has definitely changed over the years, especially this year with Porzingis leaving, Drew Holiday leaving, Luke Kornet being gone. They lost significant parts of their top 7. Horford's gone as well. They haven't missed a step because they've got Jayson Tatum now back with Jaylen Brown. Assuming these 2 guys are healthy, I think they're going to get enough from Tatum this year that like he's going to be an influential player in the postseason. Like prior to his return, it was always like, oh, if they get 80% of Jayson Tatum, they're going to be tough. And I feel like they're getting, I don't know, 90% of Jayson Tatum so far. He's getting better, it looks like. He was getting downhill in this. He was trying to jump off of his bad legs. Some of his more awkward takes I thought were that way. And I also thought he was kind of stretching himself a little bit. He started this game 10 for 17, then in the fourth quarter went 2 for 6. And it just felt like, to me, he was like, how much gas do I actually have?
Yeah.
Trying to empty the tank and see how deep he can go. Because the games are going to get harder in the playoffs. But Tatum has looked pretty solid. If the three-pointer comes around like it did against the Hornets, scary stuff.
It is true. It is what Michael Jordan said in that interview earlier on the NBC broadcast with Mike Tirico, that people have to play together and there's load management just doesn't work. And Jayson Tatum has to play more to get to his peak. And you saw it on Friday night. The first 3 quarters were not good for Jayson Tatum. And the fourth quarter, he peaked. It's important. And so, yeah, I said that Jaylen Brown is the number 1 guy on that team, even though he definitely wasn't even in the championship run. And that's why there's people here in our stream team like Big Mayo XM saying, oh, no, Jayson Tatum is the number 1. Don't ever call him number 2. This season is different. I think that's very apparent. Although I don't know what's going on with YouTube. We literally have more likes on this live stream than we do people watching. Something going on.
You don't have to call out the audience numbers, man. Jeez.
No, I know. I know.
Making us look bad.
No, I didn't say number. I didn't say a number.
Okay.
I said more likes.
Okay.
Listen, things are weird. You said that we could see our championship for the NCAA. I didn't see it. I mean, things are just weird. But anyway, Jayson Tatum is just doesn't have to be. It's all me for 4 quarters. He doesn't have to be.
They've got a lot of offensive players.
They have too many options. But again, the assists there, whether or not they're on inbounds or not, plus splash and threes. Obviously looking really, really, really good.
Good.
I can understand why, even though we're going to talk about the Pistons, people will be picking the Boston Celtics as the team coming out of the Eastern Conference.
Oh, yeah.
Moving on here. What you got for another winner?
I got the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah.
When was the last time they were a winner of the weekend? It might be the first time this entire season.
It could be, yeah.
It's definitely possible. They actually got a win on Sunday, blew out the Miami Heat. That's bad for Indiana, unfortunately. They're tied with Washington at 17 wins for fewest in the NBA. Brooklyn has 18 wins. And then Sacramento in 4th place in the Tankathon standings, 19 wins. Indiana, though, wants to stay in the bottom 3 because then they get a 52% chance at keeping the pick in the top 4 versus only a 48% chance if they finish in the 4th slot lottery odds. All because of the Zubats trade. They got to finish in the top 4, so unfortunately a bad win for the Pacers on Sunday. I'm giving them a winner, though, for figuring out an ingenious way to lose on Friday against the Clippers. 24-point lead for the Pacers in the second quarter, gave it back like that.
Yeah.
Then we played basically a back-and-forth normal-style basketball game in the second half. Came down to the final few possessions. Kawhi Leonard hit a jumper to cut Indiana's lead to 3. Then Ben Shepherd misses a three-pointer, fouls Darius Garland, makes a couple of free throws. Now it's a 1-point game. Siakam misses a jumper. Clippers get it back, set Kawhi up for a game winner. Simple sideline out-of-bounds play. Get him the ball on the left block. He gets to a leaner, takes the lead with 0.4 seconds left. Then more happen in these 0.4 seconds than you can possibly imagine. First, Hard Dog tries to put the ball on the rim for the Jay Triano tip. You throw the ball over the rim. There's no offensive goaltending on an out-of-bounds play. You can basically touch the ball in the cylinder. We saw him do this with Tyson Chandler. Is that the guy who caught the alley-oop? I don't know who it was.
Familiar.
It was on the Suns a million years ago.
Yeah.
It was a cool rule loophole where you're like, whoa, just throw a lob to the hoop. Unfortunately for Hard Dog, he banked in the 3. Banked in the out-of-bounds pass, which is a turnover. So Clippers get the ball back. Indiana fouls Ben Mathurin immediately on the inbounds. Almost before the ball was inbounded, but they take a look at the review. They say, all good. Ben Mathurin, you're going to the free throw line. Make 2. This game is over. He misses both. So the Pacers have another chance. I think they have 0.1 seconds left on the clock, trying for the Triano tip again. This one works better. They at least get a shot, and J Huff gets fouled, goes to the line, 1 free throw to win, or 1 free throw to tie, 2 to lose, and he misses them both. Just a clutch loss for the Pacers because they have the exact opposite incentives that the Clippers have. The Clippers want the Pacers to win some games so that the Clippers' chance at getting a 5 through 9 pick is better. The Pacers, it's better for them to lose. And they came through when it mattered. That was crazy. That was a crazy last 1 second of basketball.
Yeah, that J. Huff drawing a foul, which was not a foul. He flopped on that one for sure. Was a real ball don't lie with him going to the free throw line to miss both. And it ended up being a Kawhi Leonard game winner, which awesome for him as he continues to roll. I know people have brought him up in the conversations. Is this an MVP type of Kawhi season? You could argue that for sure. You could also argue that it's almost been his healthiest season in that he scored 20 or more in 51 straight games. Most he's done that in his career. Only the 14th player in NBA history to score at least 20 in 50 straight games. So good for him. At the same time, these Pacers are so funny. Because I don't buy the Pacers tanked this season at all. Like Pascal Siakam has been playing all the time.
True. I mean, they had a ton of injuries.
Yeah, that's part of it. Nembhard got hurt in the first game. Halliburton hasn't been playing. And then
they let Miles Turner walk and replaced him with a backup center.
Yeah, but that's a CBA thing. That's you can't pay everybody. So guys,
and you're not going to pay anybody knowing your number one guy is out.
Yeah, that was part of it for sure. But also,
I agree they shouldn't have been this bad. But they basically never had their full team healthy. And then in the second half of the season, they traded a lot of the rotation for Zubac and didn't play Zubac. So they tanked.
I find the tanking. They're exactly that. They're this bad. They haven't been tanking all season, but they have started the tank. Again, Pascal Siakam was an all-star and he's played in 60 games. You could tank way easier than that. But when it came down to it, they said, we'll give up picks and try and get a center who can replace Miles Turner because we couldn't pay Miles Turner. And it's worked out really, really well. So yeah, there was tanking towards the end of the season. And if there was fewer games, there'd be less tanking towards the end of the season.
There will never be fewer games. There never will.
I know. It's bogus. But yeah, I don't know. It's very unlikely. There's 30 people, 30 governors who want to keep making money, and they see gates as money. I understand that. But Adam Silver also embraces the European game. Every sport out there doesn't play 3 to 4 times a week. You could just slow it down, Adam, and still have a desirable product here. It doesn't have to be 82 games. There would be less tanking if there was 65 games. Those games, every game would matter more. Like there are a lot of teams out there. Like the Sacramento Kings didn't tank. They're playing Levine and DeRozan and Westbrook and Schroeder. They just sucked. There are going to be stinky teams out there. Anyway, we'll get to tanking tomorrow when we discuss the possibilities of how they remedy this, the thing that's never been fixable in the history of the game. But we shall see.
Yeah, I just don't think there'll ever be games. Players don't want to give back money either. They did the Athletic anonymous NBA poll. They asked them if you had to give back salary, would you want fewer games? And it was like 90% said no.
Well, I don't think that. I don't think.
I mean, and there's also there's a lot of economic reasons why there will not be less games. Fewer jobs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Fewer dates for whoever owns the arena. Like there's so much money at play that it'll never change.
Well, players can still make the same amount of money. I mean, it's all about the TV deal. Yeah. It's all about the TV deal.
What owner is going to be like, we pay you $100 million for 82 games. We're going to pay you $100 million for 65 games. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't matter to the owners if the TV deal is still a gigantic
Well, the TV deal means they signed a deal for 82 games per season. So we're talking 11 years from now?
Yeah, we're talking about money that the other side pays. I mean,
it'll never happen.
The NFL plays 18 games a year. Was it 17? 18.
They played 17. They're adding games.
Yeah, 17 compared to 82, and they make a ton of money.
I mean, that's the biggest sport.
Well, exactly.
They're different.
It can
and they're adding games, which to my point is like that. Everybody wants more.
Yeah, everybody wants more.
Yeah,
but if you can't remedy tanking, then maybe you have to make it less to help out.
We'll see.
82 games is a lot.
82 games is a lot. Absolutely is a lot. It's a lot.
All right, moving on to our final winner of the weekend. The Detroit Pistons are 5-1 without Cade Cunningham. Surprising, but I think the biggest thing is that they've had the second best defense over those 6 games. They held the Wolves to 87 points this weekend. Now, the 6 games that they played, not incredible competition. The Wizards, the Warriors, they beat the Lakers in that Dennis Jenkins game. The Hawks was an OT loss, their only loss. They beat the Pelicans and the Wolves. So 5-1 without Cade, defense showing strong. How do you feel about these Pistons overall, Trey?
Well, I mean, these wins don't mean a whole bunch to me because they're playing without Cade Cunningham. However, they're beating some decent teams. Like 4 of the teams you listed are playing pretty well. I'm including the Pelicans, even though they've recently been eliminated. They can't even make their fake play and push, but at least they're the healthiest they have been and are trying to win. You know, the Wolves don't have Anthony Edwards, but they're still trying to look good going into the play-in or going into the postseason. So I still give the Pistons credit for winning, especially when like nobody played incredibly well on this team. They just played well as a team. And like we said last week, the silver lining is that Duren gets to do a little bit more. Dennis Jenkins gets to do a little bit more. And maybe going forward, they can be relied on a little bit more in a playoff situation. But I think the main concern with the Pistons when Cade went down was, are they going to lose the first seed in the Eastern Conference? In the meantime, especially when you factor in Tatum coming back, like signs were pointing toward the Celtics being able to take a step forward. Meanwhile, Detroit goes out, wins 5 out of 6, locks down their seed, and now they're pretty safe. I mean, I suppose they could collapse in the last 2 weeks of the season. I suppose the Celtics could win out from here and they could flip-flop, but Detroit's been playing well enough and has been giving such a good effort that I don't think that's going to happen. So I think good on the Pistons to be able to hold on to the spot that they worked so hard all season to get, gives them the best chance they have going into the postseason, even with Cade coming in as a question mark, recovering from a collapsed lung.
Yeah, they held on to the 1 seed. It ain't going anywhere. There's only 8 games remaining. They're up 4 on the Boston Celtics. And people questioned, is anybody going to score on this team? And they have done very well, scoring 113 against the Lakers. It was 129 against the Hawks, 129 against the Pelicans, and just 109 needed against the Timberwolves that they held to 87. So enough points on one side. Again, the second best defense over the 6 games. So they're just waiting for Cade to come back and get to the end. Couple quick, small, minor winners. I like that John Schneider of the Toronto Blue Jays got a card from Steve Kerr in his office. He came back and he got a card, and it was from November. He sent it right after the World Series, but it had been sitting there for 5 months, and he got it, and he opened it up.
Wow, never goes into the office to check his mail during the offseason?
Yeah, I guess not. I guess that's not where he lives, so he just doesn't go there. I guess not. But cool. A cool card for Steve, basically saying, loved your coaching, how you got through it, and I know it's heartbreaking. We lost the 3-1 series in 2016 and all that. So good start for John Schneider to start.
What was Steve Kerr's advice to just sign one of the best players in the history of the game? If you want to bounce back from losing in the finals, what I would do is sign a top 10 all-time player.
Listen, I mean, he mentioned that. No, he didn't mention Kevin Durant, but he mentioned, just fighting through and all the adversity. He was more of it was less. I mean, I'm telling the story like it was about the 2016 finals, but more of it was just admiring his ability to manage and coach through the ups and downs. He just likes him. He likes him as a coach.
Yeah, everybody wants to take down the Dodgers, you know?
Yeah,
so Steve Kerr is like crossing sports. He's like, we got to do anything to get these guys out of here.
Yeah, it's smart he didn't mention the Kevin Durant thing, because then it'd be like he's the Dodgers.
Yeah, exactly.
2016,
exactly right.
Other quick ones here. Marvin Bagley, he had his game of the season. 26 points, 11 of 14, 3 threes, 9 boards. That guy looks springy for the Mavs. He's a free agent this offseason. He's 27 years old. The Mavs may not be able to pay him. That's what the CBA is all about.
Okay.
Parity. And last one here. There's only one player that's got 100 blocks and 100 steals this season. So this guy, a minor winner.
There's more than that.
No, 100
blocks and 100 steals. I know Wemby and Matas Buzelis have done it. Somebody just got added. Derek White. Derek White, did he get over?
No, Wemby doesn't have 100 steals.
Oh, 100 blocks, 100 steals. I was thinking 3-pointers. You're right.
Yeah. So there's just one player.
100 blocks, 100 steals?
Only one in the NBA.
A 1-1? Is it Derek White?
No.
Who?
Scottie Barnes.
Scottie Barnes.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Scottie Barnes. Good for him. We'll get to him when we talk about those Orlando Magic. Yikes. After the break. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. Here on No Dunks, we always tell you the deals. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days if your bet loses. Money for losing. Here's how it works. Place a tournament bet using the token, and if it doesn't win, you'll get up to $300 back in bonus bets every single day for 10 straight days. That's 10 chances to play all tourney long, from game props and money lines to spreads, totals, futures, and more. However you want. You can even mix things up with same-game parlays for a shot at a bigger payout. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the action day after day, so visit the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. FanDuel, it's time to really dance. Here as we get to the Final Four.
Really dance.
It is time. Where's the Final Four?
Indianapolis.
Oh, it always is, yeah. They love it. Not always.
It does feel like it's always there.
It does.
It's going to be exciting when it's Illinois versus Michigan in Indiana. A Midwesterner's delight. Bring your corn. Bring your tenderloin sandwiches.
They are going to be everywhere in that city. This can be a full city.
It's going to be a full city.
People will be going to, eating their tenderloins, going to, what's that place called again?
St. Elmo's.
Of course.
The only restaurant anyone knows in Indianapolis. They probably have other restaurants, but there's just one, as far as I can tell.
Let's get to losers of the weekend. There's not just one loser. There's other ones, but what's your first one here?
Welcome to Miami. Benvenido. Ami. Loser of the weekend, the Heat. 2 bad losses. Friday, we talked a little bit about it. Blowout loss against Cleveland. Just 0 defensive resistance, I thought, from the Heat. Gave up 149 points. On Sunday against Indiana, it was a 1-point game heading into the fourth quarter, and the Heat scored 11 points. Turned into a blowout loss to a Pacers team that isn't needing any wins right now. Since Bam's 83-point game, the Heat are 2-7 and have completely given up on the defensive end. They gave up 136 to the Hornets, 134 to the Lakers, 136 to the Spurs, then 149 to the Cavs, 135 to the Pacers this weekend. They've held an opponent under 120 once in those 9 games, and they're 26th in defense in their last 9. Hasn't coincided perfectly with Norm Powell returning. He didn't play yesterday against the Pacers, but it's pretty close when you're looking at when the defensive turn really started for the Heat. This is not a team that is good enough offensively to cruise through things here and try and just outscore teams. They got to give an effort on the defensive end. Right now, it's looking like the best they can do is 8th in the Eastern Conference. I think that's pretty disappointing, considering 2 weeks ago they were on their 7-game win streak, had gotten into 6th place in the Eastern Conference. Would have been nice for Miami to not have to go through the play-in tournament once again. You know, it looks like the Bulls aren't going to make the play-in tournament this year. Hawks might get out. Raptors might get out. Just the lonely old Heat sticking around in the play-in tournament. Don't think this is the way they thought their season was going to go. Especially, like I'm saying, they had this win streak. Hero was back. They're getting Norm Powell. Wiggins came back from a little time on the shelf. They got as healthy as they possibly can, and for whatever reason, they're just falling apart on the defensive end. I don't know if it's just trying to get to the playoffs and hope something good can happen, but this is a team I think that probably should have been in the top 6, especially after they hit that win streak. Instead, they are going the other way and just don't look like a connected team at all.
Blame the Bam 83 game.
Blame the Bam 83, maybe.
After that, they did beat Milwaukee, but then, the defensive effort, especially yesterday, I thought was funny against the Pacers. The Pacers were splashing threes. 12 threes from the bench. Micah Potter splashing 4 threes in the first quarter for a guy off the bench, 2 for TJ. Doesn't shoot the threes. There was open opportunities for them. So 12 threes, that's a ton. I don't know what the TJ McConnell celebration from the bench is for his threes. It's a sprinkler, like the old man sprinkler, but there's less of the stopping and starting. It's just kind of goes across. Okay. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get what it is exactly. Like I said, is that the sprinkler part where it does the the few moves to one side, yeah, and then comes all the way back. Maybe it's the sprinkler.
I bet he's got a nice lawn.
TJ McConnell.
Yeah, I bet he cares about his lawn.
It's a good point. I totally agree with that. I think he does care. I think he gets out there, gets down on his knees and looks at the granulars. What's going on here?
Check the granulars.
77.
Michael Potter was hooping.
He was good, man.
21 points. Like 5 threes.
Yeah.
He had enough that he got like a wide open dunk off of it too. Pump faked. I don't know. Maybe Bam came out. I don't know. Where I thought pretty poor performance in this loss to the Pacers. But yeah, you can't lose to the Pacers if you're trying to be a serious team at this point in the season.
Yeah. I do want to say sometimes Micah Potter, that was a standout performance. Like that just does not happen.
Yes,
it is rare, and Pacers won 77-30 in terms of bench points. But yeah, I think overall it is bad for the Heat that these things have been occurring over the last couple of weeks. It isn't just one isolated performance here for their opponents, because everybody was splashing. Like Pascal was hitting deep threes. He doesn't do that. Nembhard was hitting that one that kind of sealed it with 2 minutes left, and was at the end of the shot clock. So this one I think was kind of a standout in that those threes again from Micah and TJ, and deep from Pascal, and deep odd one at the end of a shot clock for Nembhard don't happen a lot, but it has been happening a lot to the Miami Heat.
Yeah, they're getting smoked.
The next loser, also from Florida, the Orlando Magic. They lost by 52 points. 52 points.
A lot of points.
And the Toronto Raptors had a 31-0 run against the Orlando Magic. That's the largest in the NBA since they started tracking play-by-play. So 30 years, we haven't seen a 31-0 run. And the run started with RJ Barrett, Mahmoud Kalashvili, Grady Dick, Jamal Shed, and Jakob Poeltl on the floor. So no Barnes, no Ingram, who wasn't playing in this game, no Manuel Quickley, who wasn't playing in this game, no CMB, who wasn't playing in this game, no Jamison Battle even. They had to go deep. And I mentioned all that in that start, and then AJ Lawson, the first guy to come off the bench for the Raptors during that run, to say the Magic just weren't playing. They literally just were not playing. There's no excuses. Orlando had 2 days off before this game. Again, all those injuries for the Raptors. And that was in the first half. But it got even worse in the second half. I mean, the first half, the Raptors won the fast break battle by 23. They won the game by 32. Points off turnovers also went up. They won by 26 after winning the first half by 22. And they had 32 more points in the paint. Or excuse me, they won the points in the paint in the second half by 32 after winning the first half by 12. So they're plus 44 in points in the paint. They're killing them everywhere. That's just an effort thing. It strictly is an effort thing for the Orlando Magic. For it to get worse as the game went on, it was just difficult to watch for anybody. If you like the Orlando Magic, for their president Jeff Weltman, who was in the stands just wondering, what am I going to do here? Am I going to give Jamal Mosley this season? I assume he's going to get this season and the playoffs just because of all the injuries they've had. But does he give them next season? Because their starting five is basically signed for the next 3 seasons. Wagner, Banchero, Bane, Suggs, all signed. There's a team option for Wendell Carter at the end of it. But that's it. This is their team, Trey. So what did you make of that effort and the Magic going forward?
Yeah, what effort? Yeah. I think is what I would say. This is the kind of effort that does get a coach fired. It's pretty rare to happen this late in the season, but it happened twice last year, so it wouldn't be completely surprising. I mean, it would still be very surprising if it happens, but not out of the realm of possibility, because I just thought zero get back from the Magic at all. They turned the ball over 28 times. You mentioned the points in the paint, and that's because every single shot was either a wide open three for the Raptors or a dunk. 37 points off turnovers for Toronto. At one point, they get a steal. They're on a 4-on-1, and Grady Dick tries to throw an alley-oop. There's only one Magic back, so he throws it way up in the air over his head. Scottie Barnes catches it on the ground, looks around. It's still a 4-on-1. So he just simply puts it in.
Yeah,
that was brutal from the Magic. 28 turnovers, like I said. They had 18 in the first half. I don't know which half was worse. They gave up a 31-0 run in the first half, so I tend to be on that side, but it was like bad passes, dribbling into double teams, a shot clock violation, offensive fouls. I don't think they got an 8-second call, but that's probably the only style of turnover they didn't have against the Raptors. So, yeah, I mean, the Magic need to change. You know, Suggs was back, but the run that the Raptors went on was when Suggs was on the bench. Franz Wagner, I don't know if he's going to play. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. I don't think it's really going to matter for this Magic team, but just a absolute disaster class. Paolo is really, really bad in this as well. Everybody was bad for Orlando, and I don't know what it is. Maybe a late night in Toronto. They used to call it White Vegas back in the day.
Yeah, that would be my only potential reason as well, because again, they had 2 days off. It looked like there was no effort, and for it to get worse after the first half 31-0 run into the second half is a sign of, maybe it was party time or just guys not connected. Because, Jalen Suggs was off the bench for most of that 31-0 run, and Javon Carter was out there. But, Javon Carter is at least going to fight. That's what he does. They just weren't getting back.
They were not getting
and
back.
Mamoukelashvili running it down their throat. Again, they're missing Ingram and quickly. They're missing 2 starters, and Barnes was on the bench for the start of that run. They're pulling out Grady Dick because Jameson Battle was out, and Grady Dick setting picks. It was a dick pick, and nothing else after that. It was horrendous. Just the whole thing. It was funny hearing Jack Armstrong on the broadcast saying after the half, I saw Jeff Weltman as I was going to the bathroom. He called it a washroom like a real Canadian. Thanks, Jack, for representing Canada. I went to the washroom and I saw Jeff Weltman. He just looked, I didn't want to interrupt. I didn't want to bother him because he just looked so distraught. He didn't look all together. And it got worse again. He was out there and they put the camera on him right then and there in the third quarter for it to get even worse.
Man, how sad do you have to look in the bathroom for somebody to notice?
Now it was on. I think it was on the way, so it was like by the bathroom. I'm not gonna accuse Jack Armstrong for looking at somebody else in the bathroom. Never want to do that.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Cheer up. Yeah, I mean, Jeff's got to be sad. He's got to be thinking, I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
a lot of work to do on the court, on the sidelines. And will he be the one to do the work? I think all question marks for the Magic because they've had this team together for a little bit. They did the Bane move over the summer. It was widely hailed by myself.
Yeah.
By many. It seemed like the missing piece. But it's been injuries have prevented the Magic from seeing exactly what they got. And when they do play together, it just hasn't been that great either.
I do think Jamal Mosley gets the rest of this season because of the injuries, because they just won 7 in a row recently. Not long ago.
They did.
But it all depends on what happens in the playoffs. And they will try.
If they make the playoffs.
That's true. They'll be, if there's an out when it comes to the play-in, they're done. Mosley's the one guy who's done, I do think, because of everybody's locked in for multiple years. So it's coming down to these last couple of weeks. But they will try and integrate Franz if he is able to come back. But Mosley will be the one biting it. I don't understand what was going on. Banchero looked super sad.
He looked sad. You're exactly right.
That was very, very confusing. Did not get that effort whatsoever. Any other losers this weekend?
I got Deuce McBride as a loser of the weekend. He played his first game yesterday since the end of January, recovered from hernia surgery, worked his way back, played against the Thunder, dove for a loose ball, made some contact with Lou Dort, and left the game for good, grimacing, holding, I don't know what area you would call this, the hernia / groin area. Haven't heard exactly what the problem is for Deuce McBride, if he's re-aggravating an injury or if this was a new thing. To be clear, I don't think this was anything really involving Lou Dort. It looked like the dive was the thing that was the problem for Deuce McBride. He was grimacing before him and Dort even got near each other. So didn't look good. Landry Shamet also didn't play. He's a little banged up right now. I do think Alvarado has been a pretty solid replacement for Deuce McBride, but they need somebody at the point of attack defense. That's either going to be McBride or Shamet. You saw in the fourth quarter, OG was just getting screened off of SGA way too easily. I think Shamet and McBride give you a better chance there. You would, at the very least, you would prefer McBride to be playing over Jordan Clarkson, who didn't give the Knicks very much. He's just a good two-way role player. I think he's had a really solid impact when he's been healthy for the Knicks this season. But we'll wait and see how long this guy's going to miss after he just missed 2 months. Knicks also, I think, are a minor loser. They lost to the Hornets on Thursday, not technically the weekend, but it happened. Then they also lost to the Thunder on Sunday. They've lost their last 4 against playoff teams with winning records, and they barely squeaked by some of the tanking teams during their nice stretch here. They're just not playing their best going into the playoffs. They got rotation questions, and the guys that are playing, I think, haven't looked as cohesive as they did when they went on their win streak. So if you're trying to peak right now, the Knicks are not doing that.
No, and that's why I'm sort of excited to see a potential 3-6 Knicks-Sixers series, because obviously the Sixers are playing a little bit better right here in this moment. It's hard to pick against the Knicks, considering their top 5 offense and defense for most of this season. They've slightly dropped. Offense, they're the 3rd best team, and defense, they're the 6th best team. So are they one of those teams that just kind of turns it on in the playoffs? You know, they are going to have a better record than they did last year when they went to the conference finals.
True.
So we shall see if they're playing in the second series of the playoffs on the road against Boston. That's it's a tough one if Boston is playing well. Last loser, Steph Curry, looking human. Unfortunately, this could be the second playoffs where Steph Curry is not 100%. As we lost him in the first game of the second round last year, and now here we are where he's just not able to get on the floor. Missed both games this weekend, 25 consecutive games with a sore right knee, and he'd been ramping it up, and it looked like he was coming back because there was talks about it. He was on the road with this team. He was practicing, but he wasn't in 5-on-5s, and he hasn't been cleared for that. So him not playing since January 30th just feels like he's mortal. Unfortunately, I do think he's that type of guy who's going to try and play if he starts working out again with a week left or something like that. But he's got to play in the regular season. He can't just play in the play-in, as they've said.
Yeah, Steve Kerr said the way I would phrase it is we're not bringing him back for the play-in game. He needs to play some games, and we need to give him a runway if this is going to work. Curry has said, if we've got something to play for, I want to be playing. That's great. He's not playing, and I don't think he's coming back. 7 games remain.
7 games.
We're still waiting to see if he can play 5-on-5.
Yeah, that's...
And do they have something to play for? Technically, yes. There's a play-in spot guaranteed for the Warriors.
Right.
There's a chance they could make it to the playoffs. You're either going against the Spurs or the Thunder at that point. They've locked in their seeds. So you're playing for a first-round playoff appearance. Does that count? Or would you rather him be as healthy as possible going into next season? I think the latter is the case. I think they're just not saying it.
Well, they did say coming into this weekend, he's out for 2 games. Out for these 2 games on this weekend. So maybe that's a sign that if he's unable to play in their coming games here, after those 2 games are done, then it's over. Because this is
sure,
it.
Yeah.
This is it. Wednesday, April 1st. Against the Spurs, and then Thursday, April 2nd against the Cavs, their next 2 games. He's got to be playing this week. There's one more game after that on Sunday. He's got to be playing again this coming week or the following week, because but there's only 7 left. So it's getting pretty limited for Steph and Curry, which stinks as a basketball fan. All right. Anything else to mention there? Do you want to throw in anything?
No
else?
other losers. I mean, I think the Timberwolves would have been losers if we didn't pick the Pistons as winners. You know what I'm saying? That was a bad loss.
Yeah. No Io right now.
No Ant.
No Ant, of course. But yes, they're one of those teams that would it be shocking if they turn it on the last week? Not so much because they are the Timberwolves, but to score 87 points when you still have Julius Randle and others, disappointing. All right, time for stat line of the night. This is for Jacob York, who wrote in and said, I'd love to plug my play initiative at Metro Atlanta's Aurora Theater. It's a story about Dave, who, after being diagnosed with cancer, sits down with his friends at the D&D table to play through moments he is worried he may not get. It just opened and runs till April 19th. JD even grabbed a screen grab from it. He'd love to see some No Dunks fans out there. The link is in the YouTube description if you want to join. Some D&D. Any D&Ds here? JD, did you play D&D?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Of course.
Oh, I'm surprised. I didn't know you did. But I thought there was. I don't know. I didn't know.
Yeah, back in my ute. We play with the boys as well as they're growing up, for sure. Yeah.
Our girls play with their friends.
Still kicking.
Creating a character? Come on. There's nothing better.
That's 75%.
Totally.
Right.
They spend, my kids at least spend a lot more time drawing and writing out various traits and attributes than they ever do playing. The prep work goes 10 times the actual gameplay, I think.
That's the fun part, sounds like. All right, the character who made it all happen last night was Alperen Şengün.
That's right.
Stat line of the night goes to him, 36 points, splashing 5 threes, 13 boards, 7 of them offensive. The guy's getting after it. Yeah, it is a funny photo of him hanging out. 7 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks, and 0 turnovers. That's a good stat line.
That's a good stat line. Şengün just recently got a Whoa Boy as well. I think he had like a 30-point game last week.
I think so.
Some numbers.
I think I saw a photo of him once.
Yep. Also a funny face photo, if I'm not mistaken, for Şengün. He's a good face guy.
Funny thing we got going on is our pick'em, because it's come down to the last 2 days here. I mean, really, it could be both days. I take that back. It's March 30th. There's a 1-game difference between Skeets and Trey here. They've got opposing picks. The Boston visiting Atlanta here. So,
I mean, this is it.
Well, what if you're tied after tonight?
Well, yeah, exactly. This is. It could be 2 games, but if the Hawks win by 2 tonight, it's over. Yes.
You've got the Hawks to win. They can cover if they do win by 2 or more, because it's a 1.5-point favorite line for them.
Yep.
Skeets has Boston. You guys just 1 game apart.
Just one. I've completely fallen apart down the stretch here. I've been the Miami Heat, Orlando Magic. Hope the pick'em payoff in March. We shall see. I'm happy to have the home team, though. I've been losing a lot with picking too many road teams.
Yeah, and they went into Boston and got hit on Friday, so...
Right, bounce back game.
Yeah, we're picking this back-to-back. And just like Boston is on a back-to-back. They played yesterday while Atlanta has rest, so could come down tonight, or our man Skeets will be back tomorrow, and it could be tomorrow night. I'm starting to already look at games. You never know.
Got any exciting matchups?
Tomorrow, yeah.
On Tuesday?
Knicks Rockets, Raptors Pistons, exciting for some.
Okay. Cleveland LA, that's a big game. LA, Lakers.
Yeah.
All right, nice. We got a nice sked on Tuesday.
We got a nice sked. What was I looking at here? I also wanted to see something about the injury report tonight on Boston Atlanta is interesting. That's what I wanted to get to, because I don't know. Is it a guarantee that Tatum plays in a back-to-back?
Good question.
Or Jaylen Brown coming back after 2 games off. I don't know. The Celtics could be one of those teams that says, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, if you're healthy, you guys go get it. We'll see.
This is the first back-to-back that the Celtics have had since Tatum has come back. So I wonder, that's a great question. Will he play, especially after having the most responsibility he's had at all since returning? So that's a question mark. I assume Jaylen Brown will play. It seems like they're just being precautionary with him, and he's an Atlanta guy, so probably wants to play here.
That's a good point. All right,
we'll see.
We'll be back tomorrow to talk about that game and others. We'll also talk about the tanking solutions, the proposals that the governors will be talking about, the 3 options they got out there, or more. I don't know. They talk about more than those 3.
I've only seen the 3, but I mean, the third one was something that I'd never even considered in my life, so I wonder what else they got in their bag.
Well, the one you brought up, we were in Austin. I was sitting on a couch with you, and the one that you were advocating for it, that's not part of them.
That's not part of it.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good one. All right. Skeets will be back tomorrow. The 3 of us sitting at this table once again. But for now, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, Skeets will be back tomorrow. he just was off because he took an assistant coach job with the Charlotte Hornets. Oh no, that was Lamar Skeeter. That's his. When you see a name, Lamar Skeeter, you gotta say it.
Lamar Skeeter. That's a great name.
Yeah, he's young. He's like 30.
Yeah, wasn't he just in the NBA? Like, I mean, he had maybe a cup of coffee.
Did he?
I don't know. Maybe he's been coaching somebody else. I've heard the name Lamar.
Oh no, I think he's been just a coach. I don't think
he's coaching.
He's played.
Yeah, he'd be coaching.
And he's LaMelo's guy. It's like those two guys work together, and he's doing well. He's only 36, younger than our own Skeeter.
Lamar Skeeter. Cool.
See you tomorrow, folks.